what happens to the Shiv Sena? When a tall leader is no more, there will be turbulence, Mr. Shukla.
नहीं, मुझे कहीं से भी नहीं लगता है.
आपको नहीं लगता है?
क्योंकि शिवसेना प्रमुख ने 2003 से शिवसेना की पूरी कमान उद्धव ठाकरे जी
वो तो उद्धव ठाकरे को गाइड कर रहे थे.
गाइड कर रहे थे.
वो दशहरा रैली वो उनको देखने आए थे लोग, उद्धव ठाकरे को नहीं.
लेकिन उद्धव ठाकरे के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की शक्ति थी जो सबको बुला लेती थी. उस शक्ति को भी आप नकार नहीं सकते.
On this, I want views from some of our panelists here today. Would you like to tell me, Rahul, where do you stand on this?
Well, I think the leadership of Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray is beyond any. We don't need to prove it anymore. Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray has led the party through more than 4 elections now. He's been successful in more than 3 corporation elections. In 1997 he led the party, in 2002 he led the party, in 2007 he led the party, and 2012 he led the party. And all the 4 elections he's been very successful. So credentials and capabilities, I don't think we need to debate on.
Is there a possibility, the question is there a possibility of some kind of a coming together? I want to look at it from the point of view, actually I know that Ravi Shankar Prasad will pass this question if I put it to him. But I will nevertheless put it to him. People say, Mr. Prasad, MNS Shiv Sena coming together. You think that is something which political observers will look at as a possibility? How do you view it?
Arnav, I will immediately reply to this query, but you are talking about charisma, and I wish to make just 2 points. Charisma is never cultivated. Charisma evolves over the years, where those who are your supporters or well-wishers watch you grow as to how much strongly you espouse their cause. And today's Balasaheb Thackeray's funeral is a lesson to the entire world, democratic world,
yes,
that this is how India trusts those who are really mass leaders.
Yes.
Eye contact is very important, and what Mr. Ketkar said, social media is important, we all respect that. But the impersonal part which is there in social media can never compensate for the eye contact which a live connection with the common people ensures for your status as a big mass leader.
Point is taken.
One example today I would like to share, Arnav, as to how he used to treat people. When Mr. Pramod Mahajan was lying critically injured after the gunshot injury he suffered and died unfortunately thereafter, Balasaheb went to meet him in the hospital and said, "Pramod, ut! Pramod, ut!" And thrice he said, and his eyes became completely moist, and it was a very emotional moment. You see this style of his treating people, the way he loved and the way he responded even in that time, shows the kind of person which Balasaheb was to any people who came in contact with it. Now coming to your question, I don't think today is the occasion to reply to this question. Yes, it is a very somber moment. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has really shown his mettle. We have been interacting with him. There have been success also in municipal elections. How the future ultimately develops is a question which have to be considered by the Shiv Sena, by the others. But as far as we are concerned, Shiv Sena under Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has been a very, very trusted ally. We have been working together, and we are quite sure we are going to work together in future as well.
No, my only point is sometimes, this is a personal coming together. It's not a political coming together. When Uddhav and Raj are on the same stage,
surely, you are very right.
It's a personal. I'm not taking it out of context. I'm saying it's a personal coming together. I mean, what else do you expect? They are family.
No, but this
and
shows
they will be together on an occasion such as this. I'm not trying to read too much motive, so don't get me wrong there, Mr. Prasad. I'm only reflecting the thoughts that is there in the minds of a lot of people. Maybe it is a false expectation. Maybe it is over expectation. I don't know, but I want to hear it from the Shiv Sena themselves.
I think this just demonstrates that there's more to life than just politics.
Good point.
In time of grief, people come together. That just shows how great human beings they are, and I think that's just fair. And I think we should all take it at face value. They are one family at the end of the day.
There will be.
And it
was Bal Thackeray's wish. It was Balasaheb Thackeray's wish. That's why I'm asking. Shweta Parulekar is here, also Shiv Sena. Would you like to tell me what you think about it when you saw the pictures of the whole family together?
I 100% agree that this is something beyond politics. So it is not a good time to draw conclusions, though I think most of the people want to draw conclusions out of this. But politics is all about anything can happen anytime. So I will not say what will happen or what not will happen. But right now, I think it is a time when the family has got together.
Yeah.
One has to rise above all the other things and look at the grief moment, which...
I take your point on that, Sena.
And also to bear in mind that this is a good value system when it comes to families, because there are two sisters who are married to two brothers and the grandfather continues to say the same. So in that sense, by all means, I think that Raj and Uddhav would have, even normally under any circumstance, despite any difference, would have always been together.
I take your point on that. I will not take that point further. Let our nation's politics, what happens in the future, will give us enough occasion to ask this question on different times. We'll see how this politics plays out in the state. I take your point on that. As he made his final journey from Matoshri to Shivaji Park, Mumbai's mourning millions mourned Bal Thackeray. Sea of humanity, conservatively put by some estimates, over 2 million converged to pay their respects to Balasaheb Thackeray at Shivaji Park. It was a final, fitting farewell to Balasaheb Thackeray. My next question is to Suresh Prabhu, former Union Minister of the Shiv Sena, close to Balasaheb Thackeray, and was his man in the Vajpayee government. He joins us live now. Mr. Prabhu, good evening. Thank you for joining us on this News Eye edition. Let me put it to you this way. Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy, will it be a contentious legacy? Will it be a long-lasting legacy? And who will inherit this legacy? Because this question will be asked now. How do you view Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy, political legacy, Mr. Prabhu?
You know, actually, if you look at it, we are trying to take an issue in a different way, but just look at it in a very intrinsic manner. The legacy of a politician is left behind in the form of followers. The legacy can be measured in terms of the type of ideology he has been able to actually put across to the people, and people have accepted that. The legacy can be seen in form of the type of following that he created during his lifetime, and therefore I think that legacy remains. Now, as we have always seen, that Mr. Thackeray was such a personality, Balasaheb was such a leader, that it is inconceivable that any one person can really step into his shoes, because those shoes were so big, so giant. But I am very sure that Shiv Sena has an institutionalized structure.
No, I didn't mean it in terms of individuals. No, Mr. Prabhu, don't get me wrong. I'm not meaning in terms of individuals. No. I mean in terms of when he stood there in 1966 and he said that I am a local. Right? I don't know the exact Marathi translation of what he said there. You remember that, Mr. Ketkar? What was the one 4-word slogan which he said?
Simple sentence. He always spoke very simply,
very
not
simple.
intellectually.
What was the sentence? It was
मी मराठी माणूस आहे.
मी मराठी माणूस.
तुम्ही मराठी आहात आणि आपल्याला अस्मिता आहे, आपल्याला अभिमान आहे, आपल्याला आपली जीवनशैली सांभाळायची.
That is the point here today. So my point is that when I say legacy, I don't mean individual. I mean the Marathi manus.
No, I agree with you. In fact, that's why Arnab, that's what I'm trying to say. That Shiv Sena has a very institutionalized structure now.
Yes.
Shiv Sena is no longer just an agitational organization. It is an institutionalized party.
That's true.
It has structure in terms of people having branches, then there is a people who run the branches, that shakhas, there is a Vibhag Pramukh, there is a Jilla Pramukh, so there is a structure which is well laid out. And it is all issue structure. So I want to make this point only without, I mean, just trying to tell you something very interesting. Shiv Sena was formed in 1966 just after a very massive agitation in Maharashtra for creating a unified Maharashtra, Sanyukta Maharashtra movement. The Sanyukta Maharashtra Samiti, which was also a very strong entity, a strong movement, just withered away because that could not convert itself into an institutionalized form, which Shiv Sena succeeded in doing thanks to the organizational ability and leadership qualities of Balasaheb. So what has happened as a result of this is today, is Shiv Sena has a very institutionalized structure. Uddhav was appointed as, and was elected actually, was elected as a working president of the party, while Balasaheb was still around, and he actually guided Uddhav, helped Uddhav to shape the policies of the party. So there is an institutionalized structure which the legacy which is left behind in terms of
No, is
followers,
that-
in terms
is
of
that- my
ideology,
point is
will
that- is
now
that-
be taken forward by this
No,
institutional
you see,
structure.
there is the claim for the Marathi Manus card, to put it bluntly. There is also Raj Thackeray who speaks exactly that point. In fact, if there is one other leader who pushes the Marathi Manus line in exactly the same way that Balasaheb Thackeray did in terms of its linguistic definition, it is Raj Thackeray. Therefore,
I know.
and my question is the assertion of the rights of the Marathi Manus, which was a contentious issue, and let's debate it as clearly as Balasaheb Thackeray has debated it openly in the past. Bachi Karkaria, is that as relevant today? Will it be as contentious? Who will push it? Or will it be overwhelmed by other necessities of our day-to-day politics? Bachi Karkaria, let's open this debate.
You know, this whole thing of linguistic politics.
Yes.
I think in a city like Mumbai,
Yep.
It's very, very easy to overpower it, because there are so many Mumbai-centric problems which, you fight as a Marathi Manus, you fight as a Parsi, as a Gujarati, as a middle class, as a lower middle class, everything. So I think, the relevance of what Balasaheb brought to the table will undergo a certain change. It will undergo a certain shift that I think that it will get much more widened. I think the platform will get a little more broader, especially if we are looking at a Shiv Sena under Uddhav Thackeray.
No, will many people try to claim that legacy? Let's put it as clearly as that. And I want to start with Shweta. Shweta, what do you think of that? Many people will try to claim that legacy and say that now we will take this forward.
Of course, Uddhavji has carried that forward very well, and he has won so many elections, and I think that was one of the important issues which he always addressed. So I think he will definitely be able to carry the legacy forward.
What do you think, Rahul?
Yeah, no, we need to understand that Shiv Sena, as an organization which works under Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray, believes in the concept of action speaks louder than words. We've got a number of political outfits who've come up with this agenda of regional Asmita, Marathi Asmita. But we need to pinpoint what have these organizations actually done for the Marathi Manus. Other than creating some kind of a episode and probably drawing the attention of the entire city or the entire country.
There will be competition among the Shiv Sena and the
We also need
MNS
to look at the productive things that an institution has done. The Shiv Sena started the Sthaniya Lokadhikar Samiti, which was purely for the rights of the locals. The Shiv Sena has a very active Bharatiya Kamgar Sena, which fights tooth and nail for the rights of the locals, and they have training sessions for the locals. There are umpteen number of programs which Shiv Sena has taken up, and that's why I said we believe in the concept of action speaks louder than words.
What do you think, Kumar Ketkar?
I think this question of legacy finally boils down to only one aspect from whatever has been discussed so far, that it is Raj versus Uddhav. And I don't want to go into that because there is nobody else claiming the legacy at all.
Yep.
Congressmen are not claiming it, communists are not claiming it, BJP is not claiming it. So finally, who are supposed to be the future claimants? Either Raj or Uddhav. So it boils down to that.
So
I personally think that the middle class that prevailed in 1966 when Balasaheb Thackeray was seeking jobs for these Marathi people is not the same middle class today. That middle class has grown in size as well as in incomes as well as in status in this same Mumbai, in this same cosmopolitan and corporate Mumbai. Middle class has become significant.
And that's the very reason why I say Honorable Balasaheb Thackeray was one of his kind. He never mixed his words. He believed in what he said. He did walk the talk.
He was unapologetic about it.
He did not care about electoral merits. If he believed in something, he did so.
We are talking about where
despite change.
There was a great deal of discomfort among a lot of people about
Just a minute.
Yes.
Taking the point further from what Mr. Ketkar said, despite of there being a drastic change in the class and the section of the society, despite there being a drastic change in the quantum of a particular society or caste in a particular city,
I take your point.
Balasaheb Thackeray never left the agenda of Marathi Manus. He started with that in 1966.
No, which is why it is
2012.
relevant today. You see, that's why the question is relevant today. Don't get me wrong. The question is relevant when an issue is so closely identified with an individual. Then when that individual passes away, the question will be asked, what happens to the issue that the individual 46 years back pushed most aggressively as he started his political debut? Shaina wants to come in. They're coming to you, Shweta.
But if you look at today's procession where you had 20 lakh people,
Yes.
how much of that is the youth who didn't really know of Bal Thackeray in 1966 but is
I would
very
say a
much
large part.
there?
I would say a large
part of it, but is still there and is there for the ideology and the commitment of Shiv Sena.
Did all those
It
people
could
come
also
out
be-
because they felt, and they've say, would the young people have come out, Shweta, because they've heard and read, and they've read the fiery editorials, they've liked the strident style, they've heard from their parents and their grandparents about Bala Saheb Thackeray, and therefore even if they have not personally witnessed Bala Saheb Thackeray,